Hey, have you ever been in that spot where you're trying to decide if a subwoofer is worth the extra cash for your car audio upgrade, but you're also terrified of ending up with a box that just sounds like a thump and no real bass? I was exactly there last week, scrolling through endless options, watching a few YouTube reviews, and wondering whether I should splurge on a compact system or keep the stock speakers and call it good enough. That hesitation is real, especially when you factor in installation time, the space it'll take under a seat, and the chance that you'll end up with a system that sounds great in the showroom but falls flat on real-world streets. If you want to see the exact product details on Amazon, the link is in the description. I recently got my hands on the Alpine PWE S8 compact 8-inch powered subwoofer system paired with the KTA 454 channel power pack amplifier. This bundle is marketed as a space-saving solution that still delivers that deep, punchy low end you hear in a club, but it's also a bit of a compromise because you're fitting a powered sub into a tight spot and relying on a separate amp to feed the rest of the speakers. So let's break down what that actually means if you're standing in the aisle, weighing the pros and cons. First off, who should be looking at this bundle? If you drive a smaller sedan or a hatchback where underseat real estate is limited, the PWE S8's compact footprint is a genuine advantage. It's only 8 inches across, and the built-in amp means you don't need a separate large power module crammed into the trunk. Pair that with the KTA 450, and you have a single amp that can feed up to 4 speakers, perfect for someone who wants to upgrade the front right, front left, rear right, and rear left speakers while also adding a subwoofer without turning the car into a rolling electronics store. The amp's 4 channels also let you maintain a clean wiring harness. You don't have to run separate power cables for each speaker, which cuts down on clutter and potential noise issues. Now, who should skip this kit? If you own a large SUV or a truck with plenty of cargo space, you might be better off with a bigger, dedicated subwoofer that can handle more power and a separate, high-current amplifier. The PWE S8 delivers about 300 watts RMS, which is respectable for its size, but it won't blow the doors off your bass-heavy tracks the way a 12-inch, 500-watt unit would. Also, audiophiles who demand absolute precision in every frequency range may find the integrated amp's tuning a bit too generic. Alpine's stock crossover settings are decent for most music but lack the fine-tuning knobs that some installers love to play with. Let's talk about real-world performance. I installed the system in my 2018 Civic, mounting the PWE S8 under the driver's seat. The first thing I noticed was how quietly it integrated into the interior cavity. Unlike larger subwoofers that sometimes cause rattles or require additional insulation, this unit sat snugly and didn't vibrate the surrounding plastic. When I cranked up a bass-heavy hip-hop track, the low end was surprisingly full for an 8-inch driver. You feel the groove without the excessive boom that can drown out mid-range instruments. In city driving, the bass stayed tight and controlled, which is crucial when you're navigating traffic and don't want a wall of sound to distract you. One practical strength of the PWE S8 is its built-in DSP, digital signal processor. It automatically adjusts the input gain and offers a few preset listening modes: music, movie, and bass boost. This means you don't have to fiddle with a separate processor or spend hours tweaking EQ curves before it sounds decent. In my daily commute, the music mode gave a balanced output that blended well with my factory speakers, while bass boost added enough thump for weekend rides without becoming muddy. The KTA 450's 4 channels also have individual gain controls, so I could match the output to each speaker's sensitivity and avoid overpowering the older front tweeters. However, there are trade-offs that show up after a few weeks on the road. The compact size limits the cone's excursion, so deep sub-bass frequencies below 40 Hz are present but not as pronounced as you'd get from a larger enclosure. If you like to listen to electronic music that leans heavily on sub-70 Hz rumble, you'll notice a slight softness. Also, because the sub is powered, it draws power directly from the vehicle's electrical system. In my experience, on extremely hot days, the amp can get warm. It's not a failure, but it does mean you'll want to keep an eye on the vehicle's battery health if you regularly push the system to its maximum volume. Installation-wise, The kit is relatively straightforward if you're comfortable with basic wiring. The KTA 450 comes with a pre-wired harness that plugs right into Alpine's speaker connectors, so you don't need to splice anything for the front speakers. The only extra step is routing the power cable for the amp and making sure the ground strap